The more you chase something, the further it seems to slip away. It's like when you're absolutely desperate to get that job, find that special someone, or achieve a particular goal. Somehow it always seems just out of reach. What if I told you that you can get what you want instantly by detaching from it? Sounds paradoxical, right? Ram Dass, the American spiritual teacher, psychologist, and author, renowned for his transformative teachings on consciousness and spirituality, shared a profound anecdote that explains this concept well. He explained how in India, monkeys are trapped by placing nuts in a jar with a small opening. The monkey grabs the nuts but then can't get his fist out because it refuses to let go. Ram Dass concluded, "Attachment leads to suffering. Detachment leads to freedom." Do you have your own hand stuck in the jar? Holding on to relationships, habits, and mindsets that caused you nothing but grief? Yet just hearing this wisdom isn't enough. You have to internalize it and change your approach to life. It's very likely that you've heard people say, "Let it go." But what does that actually involve? Think about the monkey and the jar from the story. The monkey's suffering comes not from wanting the nuts, but from his inability to release them when needed. When Ram Dass shared this story, it wasn't just about the monkey, it was a lesson for all of us. Detachment isn't about withdrawing from life. It doesn't mean being indifferent to people, your dreams, or your career. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Detachment involves a deep engagement with life, but without the emotional turbulence that attachment brings. The Bhagavad Gita, a revered spiritual text, offers tremendous wisdom on this. Krishna tells Arjuna that true detachment means acting rightly for its own sake, without fixating on success or failure. It's about being deeply involved in life, yet not being tied to the outcomes. Detachment is also not synonymous with carelessness or passivity. Instead, it's a skill that infuses your actions with integrity and grace. It's about loosening the grip on your cravings and recognizing that your worth and joy are not contingent on them being fulfilled. Think about it. How often have you chased after something with all your might, only to feel a sense of emptiness once you attained it? Or worse, feel like you're still not enough? Detachment helps you see that your true well-being and happiness come from within, not from the external validations or possessions. Before we continue, take a moment to reflect. What are you so desperately clutching onto that is causing you suffering? By just being aware, you've taken the first step towards freedom. This journey isn't just theoretical, it's transformative, and it all begins with understanding and letting go. Stage 1. The role of acknowledgement. Now that we have a foundational understanding of what detachment is, let's delve into the first stage of practicing it. This stage is crucial because before we can let go, we need to be fully aware of what we are holding on to. Acknowledgement begins with recognizing your feelings and attachments without judgment. Often we think that simply acknowledging our desires or losses means we're weak or vulnerable. But in reality, it's the first step towards freedom. When we admit we are attached to something, be it a person, a goal, or an object, we begin to see the true nature of our attachment and the hold it has over us. Let's put this into perspective with an example many of us can relate to. Imagine you're striving for a promotion at work. You're so fixated on this goal that it becomes the centerpiece of your thoughts and efforts. You start to feel anxious, wondering if you're doing enough or if your boss notices your extra hours. This anxiety is a sign of your deep attachment to the outcome. Acknowledgement here means pausing to observe these feelings. Ask yourself, why is this promotion so important to me? What am I feeling in my body as I think about it? You might notice tension in your shoulders, a knot in your stomach, or a racing heart. These physical sensations are manifestations of your attachment. To begin the process of acknowledgement, find a quiet space and take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes and bring to mind the thing you're attached to. Notice any emotions or physical responses that come up. Don't judge them or push them away. Just observe. This simple act of acknowledging your feelings can reduce their intensity, making it easier to process and eventually release them. You might realize that beneath the surface, your drive for the promotion is tied to a need for validation or fear of inadequacy. Understanding these underlying emotions can be enlightening and empowering. Acknowledgement is about embracing your current state of mind without resistance. You're not trying to change your feelings, but simply to recognize them. This leads us to the next critical stage. Stage 2. Self-inquiry and understanding your attachments. Once you've acknowledged your feelings, it's time to dive deeper. This stage involves investigating the roots of your attachments. To put it simply, it's about asking the right questions to understand why you hold on to certain desires or outcomes so tightly. Self-inquiry helps you peel back the layers of your emotions, allowing you to discover the underlying reasons behind your attachments. Let's go back to our example of the promotion. Through self-inquiry, you might realize that your desire for this job advancement isn't just about career growth. It could be fulfilling an unmet need for recognition that stems from your childhood. To begin self-inquiry, start by asking yourself open-ended questions. Why do I want this so badly? What am I seeking to gain from achieving this? What fears arise within me if I don't achieve this? How might my life be impacted if I let go of this need? These questions encourage introspection and help you uncover deeper motivations. For instance, you might discover that your drive for the promotion is linked to a fear of not being good enough, a feeling possibly rooted in past experiences of not receiving praise or validation. Self-inquiry also involves observing the stories you tell yourself. Often, our minds create narratives about why we need something to be happy or successful. These stories can be powerful and convincing, but they're often based on past conditioning or societal expectations rather than our true desires. Consider the inner child's influence, where unmet needs lead us to seek validation through external achievements or relationships. Becoming aware of these patterns is a significant step towards detaching. Remember, self-inquiry isn't a one-time practice, but an ongoing journey. As you consistently question and explore your attachments, you'll start to see patterns and connections. This deeper awareness allows you to gradually release the grip these attachments have over you. Combining acknowledgement with self-inquiry provides a powerful foundation for detachment. You begin to understand not just what you're holding on to, but why. This awareness empowers you to align your actions with your true values and desires, making it easier to let go of what no longer serves you. Stage 3. Processing attachments. Now that we've acknowledged our attachments and dived deep into self-inquiry, it's time for the next phase. This stage is about coming to terms with our feelings and experiences, allowing us to begin releasing the emotional weight they carry. Processing attachments means understanding that every experience, whether it resulted in success or failure, holds value. It's about recognizing the lessons learned and how these experiences contribute to our growth. Though this might sound straightforward, it often requires a concerted effort to shift our mindset. Imagine you've just ended a long-term relationship and you're grappling with feelings of loss and disappointment. Rather than dwelling on the negative aspects, processing helps you identify what you gained from the relationship. Maybe you learned more about your own needs and boundaries. or perhaps you discovered aspects of yourself that you didn't know before. Understanding the broader perspective is crucial in this stage. For example, the Bhagavad Gita teaches us to view our actions and their outcomes as part of a larger, divine play. This philosophical approach encourages us to detach from individual results, trusting that each experience contributes to a greater plan. It reminds us that it's not the outcome that defines us, but the journey and growth along the way. Processing also involves self-compassion. Forgive yourself for any perceived mistakes and accept that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. By embracing a compassionate mindset, you create a safe space within yourself to heal and release attachments. This stage of processing helps free you from the emotional entanglement of past experiences, preparing you for the next step. Stage 4. Taking creative action. With a clearer, more processed understanding of your attachments, you're now ready to take creative action. This stage is about moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose and enthusiasm, unburdened by the neediness that previously held you back. Creative action means engaging with your goals and desires in a way that feels natural and joyful. It's not about forcing outcomes, but rather allowing your actions to stem from a place of genuine passion and interest. When you act from this space, the results often exceed your expectations because you're no longer tethered to fear or need for validation. Let's revisit the example of pursuing a career promotion, this time through the lens of creative action. Instead of obsessing over getting the promotion to feel validated, focus on what excites you about your work. What projects ignite your creativity? Where can you add the most value? By channeling your energy towards your passions and strengths, you become more productive and valuable to your organization. The promotion may then come as a natural progression of your efforts, rather than a desperate pursuit. Consider the concept of flow, a state where you are fully immersed and engaged in the activity at hand. Many psychologists have described flow as being so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. Achieving flow allows you to perform at your best and enjoy the process, rather than fixating on the outcome. To cultivate flow, set clear goals that are challenging but achievable. Break down large tasks into smaller, manageable steps. This keeps you motivated and focused. Eliminate distractions and allocate time for deep work, where you can fully engage with your tasks. By creating an environment conducive to flow, you enhance your productivity and satisfaction. Another aspect of creative action is staying open to new opportunities. Sometimes, the path to your goal may not be a straight line. Be willing to explore different avenues and pivot when necessary. Flexibility and adaptability are key components of taking effective creative action. It's also important to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each step forward is a victory, and acknowledging this helps maintain momentum. Share your achievements with supportive friends or mentors who can encourage and inspire you. Finally, detach from the need for immediate results. Trust that your efforts will bear fruit in their own time. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have timelines or plans, but rather that you stay open to the journey, knowing that each action you take is a step toward your larger vision. Processing your attachments allows you to clear emotional blockages, and taking creative action empowers you to move forward with resilience and joy. This dynamic combination sets the stage for achieving your goals with a balanced mindset, free from the chains of attachment. Stage 5. Embracing freedom. True freedom arrives when thinking about your loss or desired outcomes no longer disrupts your emotional well-being. In this stage, you reach a sense of liberation, where your actions and feelings align harmoniously without being shackled by attachment. Freedom doesn't mean you no longer care about your goals or loved ones. Instead, it means you can engage passionately without the desperation of needing a specific result. You are still fully involved and committed, but unburdened by obsessive thoughts about success or failure. Consider the example of social activism. Many people work tirelessly for justice or environmental sustainability, causes that are deeply personal. Detachment here doesn't mean indifference, but working passionately for these causes without being consumed by anger or frustration when immediate results aren't visible. It means trusting the process and believing in the value of your efforts, irrespective of instant gratification. Another aspect of embracing freedom is self-validation. Many times we seek external approval to feel worthwhile. Once you embrace freedom, you rely less on others' validation and more on your self-worth. This newfound confidence allows you to act authentically, providing an inner resilience against criticisms and setbacks. A helpful practice here is developing a habit of inner dialogue. When you find yourself overly concerned about outcomes, remind yourself that you are doing your best and that your worth isn't contingent on specific results. This internal reassurance can build a solid foundation of self-esteem. To make detachment a consistent practice, consider the concept of offering. Offering, as described in several spiritual traditions, means dedicating your actions and their outcomes to a higher purpose or greater good. This can help you maintain a balanced perspective and let go of the heavy attachment to specific results. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna advises Arjuna to act selflessly by offering the fruits of his labor to the divine. This practice not only aligns with spiritual growth, but also helps in everyday life by reducing the ego's grip on outcomes. Imagine going into a project or a difficult conversation with the mindset, "I offer this action to the greater good." This shift in perspective can alleviate pressure and foster a more sincere, focused effort. This also trains your mind to focus on the process rather than the end result, making detachment more accessible and natural. Additionally, cultivate a sense of detachment in your interactions with others. When engaging in conversations or relationships, aim to be present and genuine, without overly fixating on how the other person perceives you. Practice active listening and compassion, understanding that each interaction is an opportunity for connection and growth, rather than a means to validate your self-worth. Set intentions in your morning routine, dedicating your actions for the day to a higher purpose. Use reminders like sticky notes or phone alerts to reconnect with your intention to act selflessly. Reflect in the evening, acknowledging how you practice detachment and where you can improve. The beautiful paradox here is that letting go of attachment doesn't lead to a lack of experience, but rather a fuller, richer engagement with life. It's about living passionately and authentically, without the fear or desperation of needing specific outcomes. Begin with small actions. Acknowledge your feelings, question your attachments, process them compassionately, and take creative actions aligned with your true passions. Offer your actions to a higher purpose and embrace the freedom that comes with detachment. This journey is not about perfection, but progress. Every step towards detachment is a step toward greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. Your path to freedom and fulfillment starts now, and it starts with letting go. Share your experiences and questions below. We would love to hear how you're applying these principles in your life. Thanks for watching.